Hi, my name is David Gruber. I am the Development and Communications Director at the Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance. That means that I don't do any of the real work over here. That is done by my colleagues. I have the honor of telling you all about that work, communications, and then demanding that you pay for it, development. In this presentation, I tell the story of the MDHA Flex Fund. The idea of the Flex Fund is simple. A minor but impactful expenditure impedes a client from ending his or her homelessness. The Flex Fund pays for it. That's all there is to it. Incidentally, I am much better live. So if you like what you watch and hear here, you can invite me to speak through the contact info above. The Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance, or MDHA, leads the development of an effective homeless response system that will make the experience of homelessness in Dallas and Collin counties rare, brief, and non-recurring. And the role of that system is to provide the only thing that ends homelessness, which is a home. We house the folks who are experiencing homelessness. Now, for some folks, that is all that is needed. For some other folks, we need to throw in a few services to assist them. However, it is important to emphasize that research and common sense align in this case. If someone does not have a home, house them, and they are no longer homeless. That is the beauty of homelessness. Okay, that sounds weird. Let's try that again. That is the beauty of ending homelessness. It may be hard, but it's not at all complicated. There are problems in our society that we don't know how to solve. There are problems in our society that demand complex solutions. There are problems in our society that demand huge and sweeping change. Fortunately, homelessness is not one of those problems. We know exactly what to do. We know how to do it. We have done it for numerous people. Now, we may talk about a system, but the work on the ground is done by case managers. Case managers work for homeless services providers. They are the linchpin of the system. They assist every client at every step of the housing process until the key is in the door. That brings us to Marcia, a Family Gateway case manager who is trying to help her clients get housed. Sarah and her daughter Carol were homeless. Now, with Marcia's help, they obtained a housing voucher and found an apartment. The landlord, however, required a payment of an administrative fee of $149 prior to move-in. Their only income being inconsistent child support and SSI, supplemental security income, they couldn't afford it. They were stuck. And Sarah and Carol's challenge is quite typical. Dallas's homeless population faces a variety of needs beyond housing and supportive services, including access to critical documents, security deposits, transportation, medical costs, job-related expenses, basic furniture and household items, a smorgasbord of fees, hotel stays while waiting for housing, rental arrears, rental assistance, storage, and utilities assistance. And if not met, these needs may prevent them from ending their homelessness quickly and permanently. And unfortunately, individual service providers usually cannot afford to fill these needs, as they may not be covered through existing federal, state, or local government grants that fund the programs that they run for the homeless. So Sarah and Carol are home. Good end to the story. Sarah and her daughter Carol's story has a happy ending. Marcia, their case manager, put in a request to the Flex Fund. It paid the landlord the required administrative fee of $149, and Sarah and Carol moved into their new apartment. Sarah's excited to have a place to call home, and it's much easier to care for Carol, who has a disability, in an apartment of their own. Their homelessness has ended. And again, the idea of the Flex Fund is just that simple. A minor but impactful expenditure impedes a client from ending his or her homelessness crisis. The Flex Fund pays for it. That's all there is to it. So the Flex Fund is a vital tool for case managers like Marcia working directly with clients. The case manager, first of all, identifies a client need, completes a Flex Fund request form, and submits the request with any applicable documentation. The Flex Fund request form asks for the what, the how, the why, the client's information and the solution needed, including the cost and vendor, a clear articulation of how this solution will help the client end his or her homelessness, and an explanation of why other resources cannot provide the solution. This is very important because it prevents service duplication and waste of community funds. MDHA approves the request and provides payment directly to the vendor within 24 to 48 hours because time is of the essence. And with the need met, the client can move on with ending their homelessness. Now, a little bit of background and a history of the MDHA Flex Fund. It has two main antecedents: a successful long-term pilot at the Washington State Coalition Against Domestic Violence, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, included a flexible funding mechanism as one of its cornerstones. And the Tarrant County Homeless Coalition designed and implemented a flexible fund, the Direct Client Services Fund, or DCSF, and operated it for 4 years prior to the founding of the MDHA Flex Fund. And modeled after the DCSF, United Way of Metropolitan Dallas and MDHA founded the Flex Fund in September 2015, and it has since helped hundreds of clients, about 1,500 at least, make progress in ending their homelessness. Now, though Washington State, and Tarrant County, and Dallas have been innovators, other communities are beginning to catch on to the need for such a program. In fact, in late 2018, Sharon McDonald of the National Alliance to End Homelessness wrote on the Alliance blog, "A significant amount of research, advocacy, and technical assistance support is being dedicated to flexible financial assistance and its potential to help retain housing. This work has already led to new state-level commitment of resources." Now, the Flex Fund is a really smart investment for the Dallas community. Why is that? Let's break it down. Study after study shows that ending a person's homelessness crisis quickly and permanently by housing them is not just the right and the humane thing to do, it is the most cost-effective. It is way more expensive to keep somebody on the streets or in a shelter than to house them. The Flex Fund addresses minor but impactful needs that unaddressed would impede a client from obtaining housing. So without the Flex Fund, we would have to continue to manage the homelessness of that person rather than housing them and ending their homelessness. So therefore, our community's investment in the Flex Fund ends up saving the community money. And on top of that, the cost of each individual Flex Fund client solution is non-recurring and relatively low. That equals to a very high social return on investment, ROI, for each dollar invested in the Flex Fund. Now, from the beginning, MDHA has been very committed to 90% of all Flex Fund contributions going to client solutions. And that is despite the fact that the 10% of revenues that we set aside for administrative expenses don't actually cover the true cost of those administrative expenses. And since late 2015, MDHA has raised almost $750,000 to help folks end their homelessness through the Flex Fund. And here you can see all of our different contributors. And our top contributor has been the King Foundation, who has given us over 200,000 of those almost $750,000. And so we're extremely thankful to all of these folks, and especially to the King Foundation, who made that tremendous contribution, and of course to United Way of Metropolitan Dallas, who was our partner in helping actually found the Flex Fund. And we encourage you to go on our blog and read the many stories we have shared about the Flex Fund and how it has helped real people. And on this slide, you can click through on the dollar amounts above to read just a few of those stories. By clicking on the link above, and if I did not say it before, but here is the place to say it. With this video, we are also going to post the slideshow, so you can download it on its own and click on the links. So by clicking on the link above, you can check out this late 2018 column from then Dallas Morning News City columnist Robert Wolanski. And in the column, he tells the story of how community partners came together to help homeless seniors move into the Catholic Charities St. Jude Center. And he highlights MDHA's role in making that possible through the use of the Flex Fund. Finally, by clicking on the link above, you can listen to KERA News All Things Considered host Justin Martin interview me last year to mark the 4th anniversary of the MDHA Flex Fund.